has grown into a platform which allows both up and coming established artists to sell and showcase their work to the public. Well known as the owner of African-themed boutique hotel and restaurant, The Zubiri, after attending the Kelsey School of Design, London, and Parsons School of Design in New York. Akinrele established a firm in 2006 and since then worked on several commercial and exclusive residential projects, hotels, and corporate offices, including DSTV Mobile, Agence France Press, Pegatech, Aldevo Capital, and Banso. The exceptional creative designer did not just stick to designing, she hatched the idea of writing a cookbook, which came to reality with Orishirishi. The new cookbook, Orishirishi, is a colorful detail of a discovery of sumptuous Nigerian meals. Orishirishi in Yoruba means an assortment of different things. Akinrele does justice to the name by offering admirers of traditional food and ingredients used in making them in the cookbook. It is the totality of the Nigerian cuisine, so soups from the southwest and southeast are more prominent. The meals contained in the cookbook are used on the menu of our Orishirishi Kitchen, a restaurant that offers the best of Nigerian cuisine. Opened in 2017, the restaurant parades traditional Nigerian food. Think of the seafood okra soup, popular in the riverine areas, or edikaikong, the leafy soup from the Epic and Ibibio tribes. All of these are contained in a cookbook. As someone with an eye for beauty and intricate details, Orishirishi comes with eye-pleasing text and photos. One of the astonishing elements is the food map, which details the origin of the food. Though she has a finger in every cultural pie, Akinrele grasps for words when describing herself, although a PR officer, Reni Shotamatomi, describes her as culturally inclined. She said, "I think I'm fortunate to do things I'm passionate about. All the things I do, I like doing. I feel very fortunate." If you're a lover of food and interior decors just like myself, you agree with me that she's doing a beautiful work. And you also know that food and interior decors are one of a kind. Let's move on to Do You Know? Wowed by the colors. Do you like good food, or do you have something to say to us? Why don't you connect to us via social media and running on the top of the screen? I've come to the end of the program. You don't need a silver fork to eat good food, but good scenery, good food means good mood. Bye for now.
Thank you. To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from
Welcome to Africa, the land of ancient civilization.
Fashion has been described as a form of self-expression and autonomy at a particular period and place and in specific contexts of clothing, footwear, lifestyle, accessories, makeup, hairstyle, and body posture. In its everyday use, it implies a look defined by the fashion industry as that which is trending. Nigeria is known to be one of the most fashionable countries in Africa, with over 250 ethnic groups. Each has something uniquely beautiful in its dressing style. Africa is a place of spectacular fashion practices in textiles, jewelry, hairstyles, or multiple combinations of all these. Today, Africa has an extremely rich and evolving fashion culture, leading to the emergence and multiplication of African fashion weeks, top stylists and designers from the continent. West African prints have long been a multicultural and international trade item in the wider sense, with vibrant colors and patterns. African fashion is taking over the world by the storm because African fashion or designs have been able to distinguish its designs from that of every other continent. The enormous leverage on the impact of the social media is helping African fashion gain global recognition, thereby influencing inspired ideas into their work. That is why a lot of international celebrities are taking interest in African styles and prints. Though African continent has brought in new dimensions to have various prints, designs and styles, the Ankara prints, for instance, is a game changer. There have been no small
government has inaugurated the Presidential Committee for the Development of a Comprehensive Master Plan for Preventing Flood Disaster. The committee set up by President Muhammadu Buhari 10 days ago was inaugurated by its chairman and Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. And the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has presented relief materials to Bauchi State Government for distribution to victims of flood disaster in the state. About 7 local government areas in Bauchi State have been affected by this year's flood disaster, where homes and farmlands were destroyed. In response to this, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, presented food and non-food items to the victims in the state. And the federal government is determined to prevent all preventable cancers and reduce the incidence of late presentation in order to improve cancer treatment outcomes and material resources for cancer management in the health institutions. And Ethiopia's warring parties have signed a permanent cessation of hostilities in South Africa, signaling an end to the 2-year-long Tigray conflict. In a statement, Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said the deal is monumental in moving Ethiopia forward on the path of the reforms which were embarked 4.5 years ago. The deal came after 10 days of negotiation overseen by a high-level African Union panel led by former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo and supported by the United States, the United Nations, and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development. Diplomatic efforts to bring Abiy's government and the warring Tigray region to the negotiating table had taken on renewed urgency after combat resumed in late August. The talks were launched on Tuesday last week and were initially scheduled to run until Sunday, but were extended. So those were the news trending at this time. Many thanks for watching. I am Charles Alpha.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Hello, a very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us to this platform. I'm Ruth Aguela. Effective public health for any nation is critical, as it does not only function to provide adequate and timely medical care, but also to ensure tracking, monitoring, and control when there is disease outbreaks. The Nigerian healthcare, no doubt, has recorded several disease outbreaks year after year. Now, the COVID-19 experience, if we recall, shuts down the world, but with sustained efforts, nations were able to bounce back, Nigeria inclusive. As a nation, we keep experiencing different disease outbreak, from Lassa fever, avian influenza, cholera, Ebola, and the latest Marburg virus, that is the monkeypox. Hence the need to tackle the challenge through sustained capacity response. That is where the Nigeria Center for Disease Control comes in, an agency we know under the Federal Ministry of Health. Its goal is to protect Nigerians from the spread and impact of communicable diseases through the coordination of public health, preparedness, surveillance, laboratory, and response functions for all infectious diseases. But you ask, how has the center been able to sustain responses in the country in the face of threatening global health crisis, especially towards the prevention and control of diseases? Our focus on platform is Nigeria's health security efforts, and our guest is the Director General, Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, Dr. Ifedayo Adetifa. Thank you very much for joining us, Doctor.
Thank you very much for having me.
Right, so before I introduce our panelists, we'll take you through a bit of his profile. Dr. Ifedayo Adetifa received his medical qualification from the University of Ilorin, Kwara State. He had his master's in epidemiology at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, and received his PhD also in epidemiology from the University of Amsterdam, the Netherlands. He completed clinical specialty training at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, for which he was awarded the Fellowship of the West African College of Physicians in Pediatrics. Dr. Adetifa is the second Director General of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. He is a pediatrician and epidemiologist with almost 2 decades of working experience in general pediatrics, infectious diseases, and infectious disease epidemiology. In the last 7 years, he has focused on vaccine epidemiology research. He has also been involved in the COVID-19 response as a member of the Kenyan SARS-CoV-2 Serology Consortium. He is a member of the World Health Organization, Africa's regions, that is for WHO, Afro-Regional Immunization Technical Advisory Group. There's more. I think we should leave the profile there. But thank you once again. Very impressive, I must say, talking about your profile.
Thank you very much.
Okay, our panelist on platform today is Rabi Abdallah, our head of desk here for Health, NTA. Thank you very much, Rabi, for joining us.
I'm glad to be here. Let's take it.
Always a pleasure. All right, so Dr. Adetifa, once more, we're looking at Nigeria's health security efforts. We've seen a lot happen in the country now, not just for Nigeria, in the global community. When we talk about COVID, when we talk about, for us now in Nigeria, the Lassa fever, Ebola, and all of that, outbreaks of disease is something that is inevitable. But management in terms of response, preparedness is critical. And the NCDC is tasked with that responsibility to ensure that we are safe and sound. How far so far when you want to paint a picture in assessing Nigeria's management in terms of response?
Thank you very much for your question, and of course the head swelling inducing profile. I just also like to point out that I am the third director of the NCDC.
Okay.
You have to remember that Professor Masidi was the inaugural director.
Okay.
Well, the NCDC, when you ask about how far so far, I would say that the NCDC has done well in living up to its mandate to prevent, detect, and respond to communicable diseases as public health threats. And I will add some more context there. This is a relatively young agency. Actually, act to establish it was only signed into law 5 years or so ago, but it has had to both crawl, run, and sprint at the same time together, because the pathogens to which we are responsible for do not operate by a calendar. They do not say, oh, let's give you time to get ready.
No.
They strike when they strike, and you have to both prepare and respond at the same time. And that's been the challenge for Nigeria's emergency preparedness and response. It's that we have not had any breathing room to actually spend time to under much controlled conditions to put in place all of the stuff that we need in terms of preparedness and response. But it's also important to highlight, because everybody thinks more about response, and actually the adage prevention is better than cure. It exists for a certain reason, that there is need to put in place measures that contribute to prevention, measures that contribute to early access to clinical care, early treatment. So I'd like to highlight that our mandate is fully dependent on having your basic healthcare system functioning from primary healthcare and above, and actually having that fully functional is what produces the resilience that allows you to bounce back when you have been briefly knocked down by, say, COVID or other outbreaks, as the case may be.
Okay, Dr. Adetifa, we know that diseases know no borders, right?
Absolutely.
At what point are outbreaks, okay, given that seriousness it is usually given? I'm asking this question because I know that some regions have peculiarity. I'm looking at it from the perspective of the African continent, and of course, coming down to Nigeria, we have our peculiarities. For instance, year in, year out, we experience cholera outbreak, right? And like we are in the rainy season and the flooding period is here. The question I've always want to ask, and I've always pondered over, it has to do with if preventive measures, like you said earlier on, preventive and not reactive should be a priority, right? Why do we always wait until we're having cholera outbreaks before we swing into action? You know why I'm starting with cholera? Because we are in the season, and I know that I already feel us. Why are we in such a situation?
The problem with cholera is one that indeed keeps me up at night, because we know the solutions to cholera. And indeed, in other places, cholera probably still happens under situations of humanitarian crisis and war and the like. We know some parts of the country have been affected in that way, but we know that for other parts of the country, even places down south, we are unfortunately seeing the manifestations of what would be long-standing neglect in terms of investment in water, sanitation and hygiene. Provide clean potable water, safe management of sewage, cholera will disappear. Wow. Sort of chart my experience in the country from when you had regular pipe-borne water supply from the public works in your house, to when it dropped to maybe once a week, or you have to remember to get up at night when the taps run to quickly fill up all the containers, and then you go to a point where water simply stopped running. Okay, what then happened is, of course, many of us are also quite privileged. We made alternative arrangements for our water supply. Now, our citizens who are not so privileged do not have that opportunity. They have to depend on, rivers, ponds, and all of that. They don't have water closets or safe latrines for open defecation. Yeah, there's a lot of open defecation. So what happens is, okay, that is okay. Everybody is fine during the dry season, when wherever you defecate still remains separated from wherever you get your water, and then the rains come and mix up everything and contaminate the water sources, and then the cases begin to arise. And then in some parts of the south, especially despite people thinking that in general some places are better, you do have underserved areas, those places along the creeks, for example, that are fairly isolated, that don't have potable water supply, and also now are reporting cholera cases. So I know that there have been efforts both driven by policies of the federal government in terms of water sanitation, and even encouraging states to do that. But as I've just told from my personal experience, there's been a long-standing lack of investment in expanding water works, expanding piping, city development, and all of that. And it then is impossible for any government in an 8-year period, if they're lucky, for 2 tenures to solve all of that purpose. But we need more investment in that space.
Picking a cue from what you just said, of course, while we await implementation of policies that will address some of these problems, in the area of preparedness, we know these are occurrences, from what Rabi said, that happens every year. Floodings, it's inevitable. Now, these people, this is their means of livelihood. They get with their water for cooking, for drinking, for bathing, and they defecate in it. If we want to look at the area of sensitization, because we have to meet the problem in the bud before we can talk about response. How much sensitization?
This is the network service of the NTA. We now join our outside broadcast crew for a live telecast. Please stay tuned.
Similarly, Joseph Fuba, People's Democratic Party standard bearer in Rivers State, and your running mate, Professor Mrs. Ngozi Odo. Right Honorable Prince Chibudom Wuche, OFR, former Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Dr. Samsam Jaja, former Deputy National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Brother Felix Obua, Director General of the People's Democratic Party River State Campaign Council for the 2023 general elections, distinguished senators, members of the National and State Assembly, members of the State Executive Council, elders and leaders of the PDP in River State, special advisors, chairmen of local government councils here present, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, we're here to witness the inauguration of Rivers Southeast and Rivers West Senatorial Districts Special Assistants on Political Affairs in the units. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I at this point respectfully invite to inaugurate the Rivers Southeast and Southwest Senatorial Districts Special Assistants on Political Affairs, the Governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Nyesom Ezewo Wike, Commander of the Order of the Niger, Grand Service Star of Rivers State, Power of Sports, Africa.
Good afternoon and welcome to the formal inauguration of the Special Assistants from Rivers Southeast and Rivers Southwest Senatorial Districts. And we are reaching you from the Adoke Amiesi Maker Stadium right here in Port Harcourt. On behalf of the outside broadcast crew, I say good afternoon and welcome.
The chairman of our great party, the senator of the Rivers Southeast, Senator Bernardo Ampigi, members of the National Assembly that are here, the Speaker and Deputy Speaker, other members of the State Assembly that are here, our council chairmen that are here, the gubernatorial candidate of our party and his deputy that are here, leaders of our party and leaders of our state that are here, the former deputy speaker of the House of Representatives, the former chief whip of the Senate, special assistants to be inaugurated today for the Rivers West and Rivers Southeast. My dear brothers and sisters, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, today we inaugurate the special to the governor on political units affairs. Because we know there's nowhere that can carry the capacity of this special assistance for the Rivers West and the Rivers Southeast. Tomorrow we'll inaugurate the special assistance to the governor for the Rivers East Senatorial District. Let me congratulate all of you who have been appointed as special assistants to the governor. What this means, therefore, whether anybody likes it or not, it will enrich your CV. Now, once a time, you were a special assistant to the governor of Rivers State. Not that you are just a special assistant to a governor, you are a special assistant to a governor of a state that is very important in this country. And therefore, after inauguration, the office of the Secretary to the Government of the state, you know it is not very easy. He will try to start giving out the letters of appointments. You know the number you have. And so, he will do it from one senatorial district to the other. So be patient. Not when you hear your friend the Rivers West has got it, you need to know. It takes time for him to sign, and so that you will earn your salary as you're entitled for this month, November. Touch you. Yes, so we can touch you. Now, what is that? Are you hearing me? Okay, what is your duty? Your duty as a special assistant to the governor from the political unit you come from. We have inaugurated liaison officers to the governor from the various constituencies. We have inaugurated liaison officers from the 319 wards of the state. Now, your own is the most important because it is you that hear directly from the people. It is you that know the feelings of the people about us. It is you that will come and tell us, look, what do they want? What are they lacking? It is you that we want to hear from. From you, it goes to the ward liaison officers. From the ward, we will know whether actually our people are happy with us. Where do they want us to go? They will hear from you. What are the things we are doing in terms of road and the rest? You will tell us. The ones who have done, are they happy with it? Also, this is a political period. Hear from the people. What are they saying? Be able to advise the governor. So I will know the decision to take. It is you that will determine what decision the people of River State will take at the end of the day. So if you are one of those special assistants, can you now rise so that we can inaugurate you? Can you now rise if you are one of them so we can inaugurate you? Are you all standing? Are you all standing? By the powers conferred on me as the governor of Rivers State, I hereby today, the 3rd of September, November 2022, inaugurate you as special assistant to the governor of Rivers State. To God be the glory. Thank you. Thank you. And God bless you all. Thank you.
The national
for continuation of other programs from the network center in Abuja. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.